A heavy and uncomfortable silence is coming out of Indianapolis right now, and it's causing real tension among Indiana Fever fans. The team's front office is under intense pressure, facing one of the toughest situations any sports organization has dealt with. Behind the scenes, they appear to be making high-stakes decisions involving millions of dollars, while also dealing with outside forces that could seriously impact the future of the franchise. This isn't about polished press releases or feel-good talk about teamwork. It's about hard business choices, leverage, and survival at the highest level of professional sports. Take a closer look at the Fever's recent promotional rollout. They released a 47 days out graphic and followed it up with a stylized black and white preseason hype video. In a global sports industry worth billions, these are not casual posts. They are carefully planned messages. Every detail is reviewed and approved before it goes public. The campaign clearly highlighted Caitlin Clark as the face of the franchise, along with Aaliyah Boston as a key cornerstone player. But what stood out most wasn't who was included, it was who was missing.
Aaliyah Boston, no Kelsey Mitchell. The Indiana Fever put out a 47 days out poster. Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, Michaela Timpson, no Kelsey Mitchell. Where's Kelsey Mitchell? Why isn't Kelsey Mitchell on these posters? Why isn't she in the hype video? Well,
now focus on what makes this situation so confusing and serious. Kelsey Mitchell is completely missing. Not briefly overlooked, completely absent. She isn't a role player. She's a major part of the team's offense and one of the key reasons the franchise competes at a high level. When a player like that is left out of official marketing, especially in such a carefully planned campaign, it's rarely accidental. In professional sports, every public move sends a message. Leaving her out can signal ongoing contract discussions or a shift in priorities. It can also be a way for management to show they are holding firm in negotiations. But this approach comes with real risk. Moves like this can create tension, unsettle fans, and potentially damage relationships with important players. What may be intended as a strategic decision behind closed doors can quickly turn into a much bigger issue in public.
what about this Indiana Fever front office makes you think they are willing to take the risk of not signing Kelsey Mitchell? Because it would be ballsy for them not to try to retain Kelsey Mitchell's services.
Here's where the situation becomes genuinely risky for the Indiana Fever. The front office has a track record of playing it safe. Just last season, they avoided bold moves and chose experienced, familiar veterans to support Caitlin Clark instead of going after top-tier, high-impact talent. That cautious approach didn't work well early on, and now they seem to be shifting in the opposite direction, taking a much tougher stance. And they're doing it with Kelsey Mitchell, who just had a strong, efficient scoring season. From a numbers standpoint, this is where things get complicated. Mitchell is an unrestricted free agent at a time when the league's financial landscape is expanding. With the updated collective bargaining agreement increasing team budgets to around $7 million and a Supermax deal set at about $1.4 million, one player alone can take up roughly 20% of a team's total spending power. Mitchell isn't in a position where she needs to compromise. After years of playing through difficult seasons, she's now in demand and looking for long-term security at top value. A short-term deal doesn't make sense for her, especially with the risk of injury potentially hurting her future earnings. So her stance is clear: commit long-term at a premium price, or she'll test the open market. But from the team's perspective, the decision isn't just about one player. Committing that much money affects roster flexibility, future signings, and overall team balance. They're weighing whether locking in a major contract now could limit their ability to build a stronger, more complete team around their core. That's the gamble. Pay big and risk limiting future moves, or hold back and risk losing a proven scorer who could end up playing against you. The Fever's leadership believes they hold a powerful advantage: the presence of Caitlin Clark. Her impact goes far beyond scoring. She draws attention, creates opportunities, and elevates the players around her. Last season showed that clearly. Players who struggled elsewhere looked far more effective alongside her. That has shaped how the front office is thinking now. Internally, there's a growing belief that they don't have to spend top dollar to replace Kelsey Mitchell's production. The idea is simple: bring in a cheaper option or develop a new player, and let Clark's style of play raise their performance. But that's a risky assumption. It places a huge burden on one player to cover every weakness in the roster. Even elite talent has limits, and building a team around the idea that one star can solve everything can easily backfire. At the same time, there's another layer the team may be overlooking, one that doesn't show up on salary sheets. In today's game, value isn't just about contracts. Visibility, marketability, and exposure matter just as much. Players who share the court with a star like Clark can significantly boost their personal brand, attract sponsorships, and increase their overall earning power. That creates a different kind of leverage, one that operates quietly but has real financial impact. Some players are already benefiting from it, using their connection to a high-profile teammate to build opportunities off the court. If the front office focuses only on salary numbers and ignores this broader picture, they could misjudge a player's true value and the overall balance of the team.
For the Indiana Fever to proceed. Well, the New York Liberty, they have big decisions coming up this offseason. You got Breanna Stewart, Jonquel Jones, Sabrina Ionescu. How the New York Liberty handles this offseason might give us an idea of how
There's a clear strategy behind what just happened, and it was executed almost perfectly by Sophie Cunningham. She didn't chase value the traditional way. Instead, she aligned herself with the biggest source of attention in the league, Caitlin Clark. And that decision paid off. Her recent partnership with Marriott Bonvoy is a strong example. Deals like that typically go to top-tier stars, not role players. But visibility changes everything. By being closely connected to a player who draws massive global attention, Cunningham increased her own market value far beyond what her on-court role alone would suggest. She also understood something important. Visibility isn't just about playing, it's about moments. When tensions rose in a game against the Connecticut Sun, she stepped in without hesitation to defend her teammate. That moment spread quickly, gained fan support, and boosted her public image almost overnight. The result? More followers, more recognition, and more leverage in the business world. This shows a new path in today's league. A player doesn't have to be the top star to earn major opportunities. Being closely associated with one, and embracing that role fully, can create serious financial upside. But this creates a real challenge for the Fever's front office. If role players can generate significant value simply by being part of this ecosystem, it changes how you measure worth. It blurs the line between on-court production and off-court impact. And it raises a difficult question. How do you justify paying or not paying your top performers when others are finding different ways to cash in? That tension is what makes this situation so complicated and potentially volatile. What just happened with Sophie Cunningham doesn't stay isolated. It sets a league-wide example. Players across the WNBA can clearly see it now. Being part of the Caitlin Clark spotlight can unlock major off-court opportunities. That changes how free agents think. It's no longer just about salary or championships. Exposure and brand growth are now part of the equation. With many players entering free agency under the new system, the Indiana Fever suddenly become one of the most attractive destinations in the league. Not just for basketball reasons, but for business potential. And that's where the risk comes in. If players are drawn mainly by visibility and endorsements, the team has to be very careful about who they bring in. A roster built around individual agendas instead of team structure can quickly lose focus. Basketball still depends on roles, discipline, and chemistry, things that don't work if everyone is chasing their own spotlight. This also ties directly back to Kelsey Mitchell. While the front office is carefully weighing her contract value, the broader market around them is shifting fast. If they misjudge priorities, either by undervaluing a proven scorer or by bringing in the wrong mix of players, they risk creating imbalance both on and off the court. In simple terms, the Fever aren't just managing a roster anymore. They're managing attention, money, and ambition all at once. And if those pieces aren't aligned properly, it can create problems that go far beyond the game itself.
Be prepared to offer AB and Caitlin Clark their salaries this season and next season. This season for AB, next season for Caitlin Clark. Try to bring back Lexi or Sophie. It's going to be one or the other. I don't think both of them are coming. I don't think both of them come back. Does it mean they're not? No.
This is the point where the situation becomes unavoidable. The Fever can't keep everyone. Under the new financial structure, Tough cuts are no longer optional, they're required. If the team gives Kelsey Mitchell a top-level deal that takes up a large share of the salary cap, something else has to give. And that something likely means losing key role players. Both Lexi Hull and Sophie Cunningham have raised their value. They're no longer low-cost contributors. They've proven they can defend, space the floor, and fit well alongside Caitlin Clark. In today's market, players with those skills are in high demand, and they get paid accordingly. Trying to keep all three, Mitchell, Hull, and Cunningham, would leave very little room to build the rest of the roster. That creates a different problem. You may keep your stars, but weaken the overall team by filling gaps with cheaper, less effective players. And that directly impacts performance, especially for a fast-paced system built around Clark. There's also a deeper layer. Letting Cunningham go, for example, isn't just about losing shooting or defense. It means losing a player who brings energy, toughness, and strong on-court support. Those qualities don't always show up in stats, but they matter in close games and long seasons. So the front office is stuck in a difficult position. Pay Mitchell and risk thinning out the roster and limiting future flexibility. Let Mitchell walk and risk losing a proven scorer while hoping to replace her production. Either path carries real consequences. There's no clean solution, only trade-offs that will shape the team's identity moving forward.